We are live. Woohoo! I mean, it's not up on my TV yet, but we're live. Hello and welcome to anybody here on the replay. All right. Hello and welcome to Glory. Just entirely forgot to mute everything in her room. It's that sort of day.
Mm-hmm.
What did Mom used to call it? By the seat of our pants day?
Yes.
So, yeah, it's that. Woo! Well, we made it.
By the way, you're logged in with your regular account on YouTube, not the Glory Rights account.
It still counts as firsties. I'm just
saying.
I know. You know what I'm saying? I got firsties anyway.
A holdover from last week.
Yes, because I'm logged in on my personal account on my phone. And so that's what, is up on the TV. So that's what I had access to. Anyhow, hello and welcome to anybody who watches later. Oh, Nicole's here. Hi, Nicole. Hello. And better days are here, Zellers. Hello. We are having a by the seat of our pants sort of day. And when I say that, I mean, it is, today it has not played out the way any of us thought it was going to.
No.
But we made it, and you made it too, and that's all that matters. Woohoo! Woohoo! We're going to talk about books. And
we got so many books.
So many books. And it's going to be great. We're going to have a wonderful time. That was actually the real reason I had my phone out, was because we had made that list over the weekend, Tom, about so many of the books of our childhood and adolescence and 20s that were really helpful for us in their world building to explain everything from rules at parties, unspoken rules at parties to I'm not a huge fan of Big Bang Theory, but I really like the concept of non-negotiable social obligations. I love that. And, I know that it sounds complicated, but it really, for me, just rolls off the tongue. Non-negotiable social obligations. That is just the perfect summation of how I feel about the things that turn out to be non-negotiable social obligations.
Yeah.
Of, don't even try. Because, the first thing I always want to do when it comes to these, you can't get out of it sort of situations, is I want to negotiate. Well, what if I do this? Can it just count? And so it was so helpful for me that they had it as a plot point in one or I guess really more than one episode. As well as, what a poetic way to remember, you can't get out of this. You got to go to the kid's birthday party. You need to go to the funeral. You need to show up at the graduation, at your own graduation, because your mother is so emotionally invested in your graduation that you have to show up, even though you're I was not planning to go or pay the $30 seating fee. So anyhow, so how is everybody doing today? You hanging in there, Tom?
Yes. Per usual, Mondays, I'm having a few technical difficulties.
Is it an awkward sibling hour if one or both of us is not experiencing technical difficulties?
That is a very fair question.
I'm starting to think that this is actually a running gag. Some of the gags from late night talk shows of the 90s.
Mm-hmm. That's true. It does feel very Conan, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels very shtick. These are genuine technical difficulties, but it feels like popsicle shtick. Nicole says, show up with a book. That's what I did for all my graduations. Nice. Oh, if only I'd had pockets. Anyway, but
There's so many different graduations we could talk about even.
Oh, how about your graduation from massage therapy school? Yes, that was like, yeah, okay, that was a hot mess and a half, and I was so glad I came. Even though I only went to show you how proud I was of all your sacrifice and work and how you dealt with like the bullying from adults in an adult school, from massage therapists of professionals, and you dealt with the bullying and you still kept showing up every day, even though you definitely didn't want to at that point because you didn't feel welcome. And I was just so proud of you. And then that graduation and how people were showing, it's like they emptied out like all the extras from, what was that? Hello, my name is Earl, or whatever that show was.
Yeah.
It was like they emptied out all the extras from that show, and they all showed up at your graduation.
I believe,
and they were also.
I believe the line you used was, "Other than you, I'm pretty sure everyone else's family here is here to see the highest level of education anyone in that family has achieved."
I mean, people had brought banners to what was it, at a hotel, or was
Yes, it was at a hotel.
Hotel meeting room. And they brought banners, handwritten. Some of them had been professionally printed. I remember after your graduation, I told you, I am so sorry. I did not realize I was supposed to bring posters, banners, and noisemakers to this, or I would have. But, Mom and I really did our best to be obnoxiously loud to make up for our lack of banners for you since you graduated at the top. But we both, because I was like, did you know we're supposed to bring banners? She's like, nobody told me. And I was like, what are we going to do? She's like, it's too late now. It was great. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, that's a delightful tangent. Okay. So, what we're planning on doing is doing a quick sprint, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was playing around with makeup, and I got my foundation, my eyebrows, and my lips on. I have done in no way. Whoop, my desk just tried to jump out at me. I have in no way gotten anything on my eyes or contoured, so I look flat, like a flat white latte, I guess.
Yes.
And it is actually kind of disturbing me how flat my face looks. Like I'm trying not to be weirded out, but I am. So during our first sprint, that's what I'm going to do. Y'all can watch if you want. I don't care.
It's like things you learned from teaching, Glory. Remember?
Oh, like I'm going to grade everybody's papers while they work on the next assignment? Is that what you're talking about?
Or several teachers who just show up to class and like the first thing is we've all got a writing assignment while Miss Pick a Name is going to finish putting on her face. And we're all going to stay quiet and not say anything or ask her questions.
You forgot the part about, Miss So-and-so is also going to chug this coffee so fast and nobody's ever going to say a word or ask her about her sorority life. That sort of...
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it when that was my mentor teacher. Like she's rolling in yesterday's clothes. Like, hey, yeah. So yeah, just have them start writing, and I'll mentally join you in 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, because I knew what I was doing by that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I loved those teachers. I mean, they stink of stale cigarettes and just this drifting waft of old beer. And you can tell they had a really good time. And I mean, like, I am not here to criticize or judge anybody who's doing what they have to, because I had already, any of these teachers who acted this way in front of me, I had already seen their quality of teaching. They were all top-notch teachers. This was how they were coping, was partying hard in their personal time. And nothing wrong with that, especially as long as all your kids are passing all their tests and they're happy and they feel secure in their class. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it was like, damn girl, I saw you get out of your car and like all these cigarettes and beer cans came out with you onto the parking lot at the school.
So many beer cans.
And she's like, oh, that's a good point. Okay. Can you do the social studies class next while I go back and throw all the beer cans and bottles back in my car so I don't get like in trouble? I'm like, yeah, you probably should do that for the security guard reports you. That sort of thing. Well, so anyway, so how about but first, of course, I should probably pull up the timer.
Yes.
Because, why am I
Preparation is our friend.
Oh, you're adorable. You're so cute. I love you so much. I think it technically is Victory Loves Preparation. And obviously, I am having one of those teacher days. Hope everybody's okay and feels secure and happy. All right, let's see. We've done doll. Oh, how about we do Camille this time?
Okay.
She's got, I think it's a typewriter. It maybe types. Let's see. She's got a 15-minute timer. Yes. All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to do a 15-minute sprint. And I will like put on shadow on my face. And everybody else will get their whatever gear together, maybe get a drink of any nature. It's your business, not mine. And, after when we come back, we are going to discuss books. Okay. God, this really does remind me when I was a teacher. Okay.
I remember.
I remember all those sweet little faces like, yeah, we're going to discuss books. Yeah, okay, Miss Fink's going to do some things while we write. Okay. And sprint! And we're back. All right.
And we got a few people come back too.
Yeah, I saw that right after I finished. I noticed, like, I was like in my world putting on definition. And then I looked up and was like, whoa, there's a bunch of stuff. People, not stuff, but yeah. I meant, like, there's a bunch of comments. People are here. That's so cool and awesome. Why can I never get my camera the way I want it? I don't know. Anyway, so I feel better now that it looks like I have some semblance of face instead of just a flat cartoonish. Like, honestly, I really was having some, like, disassociation issues going on. Really and truly. And that's why it was like, look, I need to go do this, everybody. So do your thing. It was just disarming to, like, see how flat my face looked with just the foundation on. And you know, to do this, you have to look at yourself streaming. At least I feel like I do. I don't know. I mean, so anyway. So I feel better. Hope everybody else feels better. I'm so happy people are here. Let's go over that because it's fun. Okay, I admit. I know I already said hi to everybody in chat, and I don't care. It's like, hello. Is it Mari or Mary? I feel like if I say Mari, it sounds like I'm faking a British accent. But I will totally go there because I loved Mary Poppins. I know British people don't. I get it.
I mean,
it's like how I
she's
feel
Australian.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. See? How about a Commonwealth accent? How about that? We'll say that. So, and then Alley Cat is here. You, how's it going? All right. And then the illustrious Aunt Charlie showed up. Yay! Because her internal timer went off. Yay for, like, an internal sense of time. I have none.
Yeah, our family's not known for our sense of time.
Nope. But yes, we are glad you still made it. It's awesome. I'm going to keep playing with my table until I'm happy. And that's just how this is going to go today. Hope everybody's okay. I'm just, you know what? I did earn the diagnosis of ADHD. There I said it. I'm a fidgety person. So let's trying to figure out what to write. So many ideas. I mean, what? 52 novellas in 52 weeks, and at least 2 are at least out of the first draft phase, right? Maybe. I don't know. My memory is definitely interesting today. I woke up, my stomach wasn't feeling great, and I couldn't get back to sleep. So I did not get enough sleep, and it's like, what is today? Is time real? I don't know anymore. So just got the reminder. Okay, well, half hour in is something. Oh, the servers must be slow. Okay, it's Mary. All right. Hi, Mary. I may still say Mari once in a while. I'm sorry. I am going to work on it. All right. Cartoonish is my aesthetic. Yes. Oh, I feel this deep in my soul. Yes. Yeah. I can definitely relate to a lot of animated people in a variety of ways. I mean, Gravity
It's usually that's the episodes that can also get you to watch of different shows. It's like, but a lot of it's cartoon or it's puppets. And it's like, what episode is that?
Yes, like, yeah, remember, because you couldn't get me to watch Buffy or Angel.
Yeah.
And, you know, I saw some reference online to the puppet episode, and I'm like, where's this puppet episode, Tom? I need to watch this right now. And, yeah, I mean, like, I'm not normally, you know, it's not necessarily my jam. Nothing wrong with it. It's just, I don't know, it just didn't quite hook me, I guess. I had other issues that they just didn't cover, and so I just had trouble relating. But yeah, that puppet episode, as well as, all right, to be fair, also the whole character arc with the goddess of death, Glory. Yeah, I was there for that. Mm-hmm. I mean, on the reruns, not
yeah,
not when it aired. So yeah, or like any anime, like that whole, what is that anime that all it is candy commercials? I mean, really, I mean, they put it in
Dagashi something.
Something, yeah, it just means like candy and snacks.
Yeah.
Is the name, you know, like the English equivalent of it. And all it is like slice of life episodes where they just keep highlighting snacks and candies that you find at Japanese C-stores, especially the rural ones. And I'm like, I watched all 12 episodes. I binged it. I did. It was driving him nuts.
Yeah, and there's 12 more.
Oh, well, I'm ready to find out more about gacha candies and toys. All right, school is busy but good. Look, that's good because, yeah, the world's on fire. So I frankly am not sad I'm not teaching right now. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for all students everywhere who are having to be in this. I'm so sorry. Nothing I can do about it, but you're doing great trooping through.
I just double checked. It's Dagashi Kashi.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because when we looked up Kashi, it was like, oh, it's the cereal. It's like, no, it's not. It's not. So,
Someday we should tell a story about Mom's funeral.
Oh, yes. Yes. And how, yeah.
Everyone's going to the after party, whether they choose to or not.
It was a wonderful after party. Yep. Mom got the last word. All right. Yep. 2 done drafting and so many more. Yes. So many good stories. I really think this is an awesome, like, ambitious plan. And I am like here for it as a spectator. Like, yes, what is 52 and 52 like? I'm totally interested. Especially as I actually really like novellas. That is a lot of how I got into Silver Age science fiction was through novellas, because I didn't learn to read till I was 9 because I'm dyslexic. And back then, and this was said to my face, I can't tell you how many times, girls can't be dyslexic. Only boys can be dyslexic. So you can't have dyslexia. You're just a lazy reader. So I didn't learn to read till I was 9. And then reading can sometimes feel physically uncomfortable. It can honestly sometimes feel physically painful. I know that sounds strange, but it's requiring so much, mental effort, and that it almost feels like physical pain. And so for the longest time, and I mean, if I'm brutally honest, right now still, I shy away from big, thick books because it's like, oh God, but I'll be in here forever. And look, when I see a book this thick, all I think is how much it would hurt to read, not the stories in there. So novellas were so easy for me to jump in because I'm like, it's a book, but it's a thin book. I could read this. And it will count because it's a title. It has a title. So when people ask, what are you reading? I can say the name, and they don't necessarily know that it's, only 100 pages rather than 300 pages long. So that I was really into novellas as a kid and a teenager. Gothic romance. Yeah. Isn't, Charlie, do you have the link? I have the link for that WordPress for the Gothic horror, call? Do I have this open? I don't have it here. I think I opened it on my phone. But Charlie, you've got a mod wrench or whatever it's called. If you get a chance, could you post the link to that? I don't know why I didn't think about that ahead of time. It. Thank you. Thank you so much, darling. Appreciate it. All right. So, books.
So many books.
Books. Okay. Where do you want to start, Tom? Do you want to start with the earliest ones or the favorite ones or the ones that after all these decades of life we're still talking about? What do we want to talk about?
Let's start with those.
The ones we're still talking about, the ones that truly have like served us well. Okay, so I'm gonna start right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah.
The party rule.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, because party rules, the way people behave and their unspoken expectations of other people's behavior at parties is different from unspoken expectations of behavior elsewhere in life. Even at the mall. Remember when the mall was like the place you go? I know now.
Once upon a time.
The mall is dead. But back then, like, let's all go to the mall. And the rules there were related to the rules everywhere else, like at the grocery store, even at school, everywhere. But party rules were just different enough, just a few degrees off. And oh my God, I can't tell you how many parties I've bombed in my life. I mean, like, whether I was hosting it or attending it, it did not matter. Bombing still happened. And that was like very disconcerting. I mean, like, nobody came to a single birthday party I had until my mid-20s, my mid to early 20s.
Yeah, something like that.
My early 20s. Yeah, I remember my 21st birthday was off the hook. But oh.
Did someone say we're going to get someone drunk?
I literally don't talk to any of those people anymore. But for different reasons. It was not because of the party. It was because they were sociopaths and psychopaths, and that's something else. But yeah, nobody came. Like, any of Little Glory's birthday parties, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, nobody came. And I did not understand why or what was going on. And Douglas Adams in the Hitchhiker series did help me at least, well, maybe not understand how to host a party, how to be a more socially acceptable guest. Mm-hmm. Like, number one, always bring a bottle of liquor, even if you're not drinking. So like hard liquor, wine, it doesn't matter. They don't care. Bring like a case of beer. They don't care, especially if it's something new that they haven't seen. So you go looking for the weirdest thing you can find at the beer store, at the wine and liquor store, wherever you go, and you look for the neatest label, the most interesting, or you ask, what do you have that's new and interesting or exciting? And the clerk will tell you, like, oh, we got this and it's on sale or whatever. You get that. Trust me, that is what people want to see at parties. Even if you have no intention of drinking. By the way, if you have no intention of drinking, bring something for you to drink, just in case there is literally nothing that is alcohol free there. I learned that one as well. And so that was really helpful. By the way, when I started doing that, and it was before I was of legal drinking age, but I had friends who were older, the sociopaths and psychopaths, by the way, who, did my 21st birthday. They would go buy the liquor for me so that I would have something to then take to the party. And then I started getting a good reputation at parties. So when I hosted parties, people were more willing to come. Even though my parties were not alcohol heavy at all. In fact, it was like, people are like, oh, can I bring anything? And I'm like, sure, just bring a bottle of whatever you want to drink. And so they often brought wine or whatever their favorite thing is, or the ingredients they need to make, like, say, for instance, margarita, limes, tequila, what have you. And I would get to provide all the food. But people, because they liked how I understood the unspoken rules of party, then they were so much easier willing to come to my parties then. And that was a big deal, as well as other rules from Douglas Adams' party, like from what was it? The party that never ends, or the
party that never ends.
The marauding party, since they got airborne, and then they started like marauding local villages and small governments for supplies. Anyway, it's a hilarious story. I highly recommend at least that little vignette of a story.
Yeah.
The Hitchhiker's Guide series. I think that's under Life, the Universe, and Everything. Because that is the one I listen to the most. Douglas Adams reads it. That is my favorite version of the audiobook, is where Douglas Adams reads it unabridged. And where, the guy, says he keeps trying to like get his award that he is carrying. He keeps trying to bring it up in conversation. And Arthur is not in any way helping him bring this up in conversation, asking, "Oh, what do you have there?" "Oh, it's an award for being the best muckety muck in Hollywood." And the man gets upset at the end and huffs off saying, "What awards?" and leaves. And I also didn't know that. So again, it helped me behave better at parties, since what I did not understand, the unspoken rule was people are going to try to have maybe something interesting about them. Maybe they're the one who carries the guitar, or they have brought an award with them, a physical statue or something, and they want to talk about it. They want to like, "Hey, yes, I won this." And that it is polite and appropriate and, important that we all ask them about it, so that they will be happy and we will get a good reputation as a good party guest.
Yeah.
And so that also helped a lot. And that made a huge difference in my social life. And therefore, the more friends that I gained, the better I was able to socialize with people. And so it really was like a snowball effect. And so that's, even though I know like Terry Pratchett's Discworld wasn't honestly like so much more encyclopedic about how the unspoken rules of how the world works, that is my favorite one, is Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide series, Life, the Universe, and Everything, about the party rules. There are a lot of other rules mentioned throughout the series.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one that has been the most influential in personal life. Down.
All right, so shall we go to Discworld?
I don't know, talk. Do you have anything you would like to add about anything, please? Thank you for coming to my TED
Talk. Well, being the, let's just stick with stereotypes. The award was the most gratuitous use of the, F word in a series screenplay. Yes. That was what the award was for.
Terrible name. I loved it so much. And
there's, in retrospect, we've learned that a lot of Hitchhiker's Guide, the series, was really based on his time and experience with the BBC in the 70s. Like, it is just a straight commentary on everything about Britain and the BBC in the 70s and early 80s. Because every version of that was made of Hitchhiker's Guide, in written form, in audio, on TV, in movies, were all written by Douglas Adams, and each one was edited and changed for the format, but they're all his style. And so, as far as anyone's concerned, they're all equally valid sources for what goes on in the story.
Right.
But yeah, let's go on to to Terry Pratchett. There was, the encyclopedic reference guide for those who just don't understand humans.
Yeah. Okay. So Charlie has posted the link to this wonderful submission. I think it's open, I want to say, to October 31st. So there is still plenty of time to write. The requirements for the story, everything is on there. I don't know rights. I had looked and I didn't see it, but I honestly did not go like trawl the whole website to see if I could find like, how are rights? Do you get your rights back ever or what? But it's all there, and maybe by next week I'll know. And then Charlie's like, Douglas Adams, such a good writer. Yes, we do too. So, I do love throwing parties. Now that people will come.
Yeah.
Those are super fun. I love cooking for the parties. I love all of it. The actual party, but I love the cooking, and I love seeing all the people who come, because like then I don't have to travel to other people's parties, and that's pretty cool. What's that? Okay, I get it. Never want to, or since people I know don't drink, and I don't, just an aside, there are plenty of parties where nobody drinks. We've been to countless ones, especially because we live in the Deep South, which is like Southern Baptist country. So most of like backyard parties, nobody's drinking. So, and again, then the emphasis on good food, and that is awesome. My favorite kind of party to throw, which is also, by the way, one of the cheapest parties to throw, is to do a pasta bar party. And my second favorite kind of party to throw is a taco bar party. And my third favorite party to throw is a baked potato bar party. Are you getting the theme here? It works out really great. Because you can use crock pots a lot. And then, borrow other people's crock pots. And then they're like, oh, well, if you have my crock pot, I guess I'll come. Yes, you should totally come. Thank you so much. And I will return your crock pot after the party once I've cleaned it. Yeah, that means I'll have to see you again. I know, introverts, fair warning.
Go to the next one.
Okay. Band parties. Okay. What kind of band has
School band?
Okay, we went to school band parties, and they were the most alcoholic things I've still ever attended. Well, except for a couple science fiction fantasy conventions.
Yeah, those are raging. But one thing that did remind me about
what?
One of the things though the Alley Cat did remind me about is us and parties, specifically going to parties. So
yeah, because myself is a hardcore introvert.
Yeah. But I went to a lot of parties. It's a lot of college parties, trying to better understand how does this whole socializing thing work and how to make some more friends. And while Gloria is mostly extroverted, at parties, it's a little tricky. So one of the things I do recommend is only go to parties with your friend that is a professional party goer. Like, it's weird to say, me, or there's been at least 2 other friends you've had. And
yeah, Unity.
One, they keep
good at a party.
They keep the conversation going for you when you're not sure what to say or do around other people. But you can point your friend at someone of I'm curious about them. Let's go meet them.
Right.
And your friend will go, start up the conversation, and you can get to meet new friends.
Mm-hmm.
But it also acts as protection, like I have to for Gloria at parties, of keeping her from getting surrounded by the party ninjas and entrapped in a corner. Which I understand why many people don't want to go to parties if you have a tendency to get trapped by party ninjas.
Those ninjas get me every time, especially by the bathroom. When I'm waiting in line to go pee. They get me.
So I'd let Gloria go on her own, and about every 10 to 15 minutes, I'd go wander and just check on her and see if she'd gotten cornered again. And then just sort of pull her out.
Yeah, I've actually found a bunch of my introverted friends are the ones who are great at parties and who enjoy going to parties. Like they sort of do a circuit of, they see everybody, they say hi, but they don't have to have deep, long conversations. And that's what they like about it is they don't have to have hour-long conversations with people. It's just hey, how you doing? What's going on? Oh, okay, cool. And then they move on to the next. And it's just truly a mingle thing. And so, but it counts as a social interaction in that friendship. And so they, it's sort of like Mario Brothers, racking up all the coins on those runs. And it counts toward all these friendships of oh, we've had a contact. And, one of my friends said she's this way. I have now seen him and I don't have to see him for another 4 months. And yet they're fine with our friendship. Versus if I met him for coffee, that's half an hour to an hour minimum with just one person versus at a party, I could just doop, 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 doop. And so, yeah, I found having someone else who knows how to hit the party circuit is helpful to also free me from the party ninjas. But yes, all right. Yeah, I get it about crowds. I definitely have some PTSD about crowds. I very much see a crowd and when will the pitchfork and torches show up? The parties we're talking about, aside from science fiction fantasy room parties, which would be at a hotel party or a hotel convention. And it'll be a whole floor of the hotel is devoted to the room parties on one night. And everybody who has a room on this floor knows that it's a party floor. And so they're going to host a party on that night. And, so like different social groups, like the Trekkies will have their own party room, and the Lord of the Rings folks will have their own party room, and so on, and they'll all that kind of party. But then what we're really mostly thinking about are, I guess they would maybe be called house parties.
Yeah.
Like Halloween party at someone's house, and people just kind of come and go as they please. And, yes, everybody has a solo cup. I've read enough BuzzFeed articles about people from not from America come to America, and they're like, oh my God, they really do have the solo cups. Yes, the red solo cups are a thing. And, it's part of the prop. I always get my cup, and then I carry it everywhere so that I have my prop. Do I necessarily drink out of it? It depends. I mean, if I'm suspicious of the drinks, then no, I don't. I may also have a Coke in my hand. But the solo cup is part of the props. It makes me feel better to have a prop. So any anxiety I may be experiencing, I'm like, I got my prop. I can like hold it. I can move it to the other hand. I can tell people, oh, I need to get a refill. I'll see you in a few minutes, and then not come back.
And if you don't want to shake hands, you have both hands with stuff in them.
Right. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, it's great. Because I don't like shaking hands. I think that's gross.
Believe me, there's a lot of tricks for autistics in parties.
Yes. And we've learned them. We've learned some anyway. So how about we then go on to Discworld now that we gotten all the comments up. Okay, your turn. I will.
Oh, what are you talking about? You're the one who's usually a better explainer. You know what people really want to hear about.
I just don't want people thinking like Glory just like takes up the room and Tom is just there as eye candy. And while you are very pretty, you are not eye candy to me.
I'm more like the backup info when you can't remember stuff. Like that's really what. But Discworld, there is just, oh God, there is so much. It's what do you want to know about? Because all Terry Pratchett was a journalist. So all of he just put into a fantastical realm whatever he had learned about recently. And he had almost nothing made up. If you read it in a Discworld novel, it existed somewhere and is factual somehow.
Fun fact, the whole thing about the jesters, the clowns, where they had like their little faces on eggs. Okay, there's a real museum in England.
There's two of them. There's one in England. There's one in America.
I thought that was a binder, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the story. Anyway, there really is a museum in England with all these faces on blown out eggs. And those are, that person may be dead 300 years, and nobody is to this day allowed to have that clown face. For real. That's real. Okay. I thought Terry Pratchett made that up. I thought that was genius. It's real. It's real.
But definitely also want to check out specifically for Terry Pratchett for, sort of autistic and, having problems communication, understanding the world was the one he wrote for, his daughter, really. Even though I think she was older by the time he wrote it. The Tiffany Aiken series.
Oh, I love those.
Of, very much, being a girl, but not being, any kind of acceptable girl stereotype growing up in society. And how do you handle the world?
Mm-hmm.
That series is great for that.
Spoiler, it turns out you're a witch.
It always turns out you're a witch.
Yes, you might be a cheese witch. You could be a pig witch. You could be, or how about that guy who joins and he's like a witch for men? It's great that he's not a wizard. He's a witch.
Yep.
Yes. Loved it. So the parts about Discworld that I really like, and I think like maybe would be easier for some people to sort of jump into Discworld is, the one about newspapers and how newspapers are run. I think that one's called The Truth.
Yes.
And there's the one about banks and how banks and currency work. I don't remember what that one's called. I know I should too.
What was the publishing one? I mean, the banks.
Hello, Internet.
What was Moist Fun Litvig doing there for money?
Discworld Bank. Okay. Oh, what happened? That is not what I was trying to get happen. Ooh, it did some weird things. Oh, I wonder if other people are having technical stuff go on to them today. Discworld Bank. Okay. Making Money. I should know.
Yeah.
I can't believe, like, as I said, like, I feel like I should know this name. Okay, Making Money is just surprisingly astute because I am like, I love the Freakonomics podcasts and the books. And I can honestly attest, like, if you're not into Freakonomics, and I understand, I mean, economics and anthropology can only be so interesting. Making Money is an excellent fictional narrative way to truly understand how banking system works and the ridiculousness of it, and how it is a construct. It's not in any way based on anything solid. It's just everybody agrees to say that this unique piece of paper or this interestingly printed piece of paper has a value beyond the prettiness of its printing. And how they determine value. And I'm not going to spoil it. You're going to have a great time if you haven't read or listened to the book. But I think you probably have a good time. I love Moist von Lipwig in this series because he's a con artist who keeps being like coerced into, going legit. And it's fantastic. I love that trope of the con man who has to go legit for whatever the reason, it doesn't matter, and how he keeps wanting to scam, and yet circumstances conspire against him. I mean, the con man, and yet circumstances conspire against him to scam him into, being a benevolent person.
Yeah.
So, versus...
Although it does actually kind of remind me of something and it's a weird... This will sound weird to people who haven't read them, but once you do read them, you'll probably see the validity of it, which is, if you like Terry Pratchett, he's sort of the upper high school storytelling of what Heinlein was doing in more of a college level writing for a lot of his stories.
Like, because when you say that, what do you mean?
A lot of Heinlein's stories go over a lot of the same ideas, including money, that Terry Pratchett goes over, but usually in a shorter story form, but in a more mature manner and conversation style, like his stuff with Lazarus Long and what was the People Who Lived Forever? I mean, the People Who Lived a Long Time Foundation, the
Howard Foundation.
Yeah, the Howard Foundation. But you come across a lot of the same ideas in Heinlein that Terry Pratchett discusses, but it's in a bit more serious and a little bit harder sci-fi style versus Terry Pratchett's much more comedic fantasy style. And so if you ever come across someone who Terry Pratchett's not quite for them, like they're the kind who want a bit more seriousness in this, Heinlein may be another route to go, but he talks about all of it in a very, same style, but it's a college level. I mean,
right. Yeah, Heinlein, like the Future History series in particular, which are the ones that I like the most. He goes over other unspoken rules. I think it's, The Cat Who Walks Through Walls and To Sail Beyond the Sunset are, I think, probably the two that I revisit whenever I feel like I'm stuck. And I'm not sure what's going on. Like I'm stuck socially somewhere, maybe with a job or in an unpleasant social situations, they're recurring and I don't know quite what's going on or how to get out. Heinlein, I revisit for that, or, and I do it sort of instinctively. It's not that I really think about it. It's only later in retrospect that I'm like, I do listen to The Cat Who Walks Through Walls. Also, I happen to love the fact that in The Cat Who Walks Through Walls, our protagonist is able to support himself by writing short fiction.
The fantasy.
Oh, the fantasy. He only needs to write like 2 to 4 of these a month to pay for all his bills. to live, on the equivalent of like a cruise, because he's not even living on the moon. He's living like in they're like I don't know what it is. I don't remember. It's not a meteor, but it's sort of it has only a quarter gravity. And it is sort of like, I guess, those retirement communities in Florida, kind of equivalent, or in Southern California as well. And yeah. And I mean, like, because there's nightclub and there's dancing and then there's a black market section. And I just love the fantasy of being able to support myself writing 2 to 4 short stories a month and it paying for all my bills. Like, oh God, the dream. I like a millennial, I have not yet given up hope on being able to support myself with writing. I mean, I can dream. So, I do want to point out, like, Discworld, the Watch is a very interesting idea. So the Watch is like their equivalent of law enforcement. And in fact, it's the Night Watch primarily. I want to say this about it. It is not what I would call, from my personal experience with law enforcement, it's not exactly how law enforcement is actually run. In that regard, Pratchett went with how he thought law enforcement should be run. And I happen to 100% agree with him on this. Of, yes, you occasionally do need law enforcement. It's rare, but it happens. And the rest of the time, it's just meant to be sort of a community building sort of aspect, where you essentially touch base with a variety of people every day in the community so that they feel safe. It's very middle class. And I happen to agree with Terry Pratchett's sort of idea of fantasy, as it is truly fantasy, about running law enforcement. And I love Sam Vibes, who's...
Oh, yeah, it's hard not to like him. I'm hoping they don't mess it up too much in the series that comes out next year.
Hoping and praying. I think no matter what, it will probably at least bring more people to the book series, though.
Yeah.
Because at least then they have they're more familiar with it. Because I came upon Pratchett by absolute accident. I came on Pratchett in the weirdest way. Everybody kept telling me that I needed to watch The Fifth Element. This was the early 2000s. I had not watched The Fifth Element, and this is before you could stream anything, back in the old days, the early days. And
when Netflix came by mail.
Yes, and the waiting list at Netflix and Blockbuster by mail, the waiting list to get a copy of The Fifth Element to watch was months long. So I saw at a science fiction fantasy convention. Do you remember Dr. Jack?
Oh yeah,
the bookseller. He had a book. I spied it in his fantasy section, and it was called The Fifth Elephant. And I saw that, and I was like, I wonder if this is like the movie, and maybe I could read this and at least maybe better understand what people are talking about. By the way, so in the science fiction fantasy convention world, people kept telling me, oh, have you watched The Fifth Element? You really remind me of them. I can't imagine which characters I may remind people of. Maybe you could tell me. And they would tell me, have you ever read To Sail Beyond the Sunset? At the time, I still had not. I was in my early to mid-20s. I had not read To Sail Beyond the Sunset. And if you have ever read it, can you figure out the character that everybody told me I reminded them of? So there's a little Easter egg for anybody who hasn't read it, who'd like to go check it out and see if they can find Glory. I'm just throwing it out. Something to talk about. So anyway, but yeah, by the way, my favorite sub-series in Discworld is The Witches, is the Weird Sisters. And then my second favorite is Tiffany Aching. But anyhow, what did we want to talk about next as far as the unspoken rules books? Anything? Bueller?
My mind has gone blank. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to actually pull up because I did put all these hashtags in my Instagram post about this episode, and now I'm like, oh, it'll remember for me.
I'll mention one to me that it's definitely a two-edged sword. I mean, okay. But it does help me summarize one of the things I find as a way to go, will this be something I would relate autistically to? Okay. And that is the book series for Dexter.
I remember you talking a lot about it when you found these books.
And the qualities and reasons for it is, and he's not actually autistic or supposed to be in the story.
No, I would say he's more of somebody dealing with a great deal of trauma.
Yeah, and who's definitely been emotionally stunted.
Primarily undiagnosed trauma.
Yeah. And the father, the stepfather or whatever that raised him very much saw this because he knew what the trauma was from. And so he trained this person, spoiler, not spoiler, to be a serial killer of serial killers. But what I relate to and what I see is that, okay, yeah, a little bit of the emotional stunting, so a communication problem with other people, but also this part of, while you don't necessarily feel like you're human like the other humans around you, you still have a lot of compassion for all the people you're around. It's, you don't truly feel like everyone else is other, which again is something I really get annoyed at with the autistic stereotype. Is, I know I'm human, I know these are also humans, and there's definitely we need to all survive feeling in there. And that's one of the things I kind of noticed and picked up actually reading Dexter, is this, just because you don't think and feel like everyone else around you doesn't mean you can't still feel, a need to protect and a need to be around even others. It's not one does not negate the other. Feeling alien does not negate the need to be around other people. And that's just what, that series always reminds me of.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to, I've always thought I was human, but people kept telling me that my thoughts and feelings were not normal, or the word they'd use is weird.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, well, maybe I'm not human. I mean, like, if everybody keeps telling me, like, no, Glory, nobody thinks that way, nobody feels that way like you do. And so what I didn't understand was people were othering me.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I still felt an affiliation with humans, and I wanted to, be helpful to humans. Honestly, now maybe sometimes I want to be helpful to dogs more, but that's just got my own. Yeah, I love dogs. At least more than some humans.
Yeah.
But anyhow, and understanding that, later I found out, decades later, I found out that being a female diagnosed with autism, one of the common sort of checklists or, timeline experiences is that, making jokes or references to feeling like an alien. Like, that's a common trope among female autists, diagnosed or undiagnosed, in fact.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was in middle school, I used to tell people all the time that I was from Jupiter. All the time. I didn't think anything was wrong with this, because I was like, well, if I'm not human, if I am an alien, let me pick where I want to be. And I like Jupiter. Looks pretty to me. Also, it's big, like me. So, but yeah, anyway. Yeah. How about we do a sprint?
Okay.
And I could put on some eyeliner.
Keep on with that face.
I don't know why. I mean, we're an hour, 10 minutes in, and I'm like, stuff. And everybody else can maybe sketch out some writing, productivity, or I don't know, research the books that you want to add to your Goodreads pile. Throw that out there. If you haven't read these, I highly recommend all of them. And then if they're not for you, please let me know, because I love being a reading advisor, and I need to know where you were like, nope, that did not work for me. That's very useful.
Yeah.
In fact, it's often more useful than the ones that you did like, as far as being a reading advisor. So anyway, how about we do a 20-minute one? Hold up. All right. Let me figure out what I am doing. Okay, we were going to do a 20-minute.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's try this one. I've got it muted. All right. Is this one? Hold up. Does this not? I like it when they tell me the time.
Yeah.
All right. Here we are at Camille's. Thanks, Camille. All right. So, everybody, 3, 2, 1, sprint. Hello. How did everybody do? I do love it when Keshe does that, I must say. All right. Can you hear me, Tom? No, Tom's still muted. Tom. Okay, Tom will be back in a second. He is apparently having audio issues. Yes. Oh, the technical difficulties never end here. So I got my eye makeup done, and if I do say so myself, I'm very happy. I'll just appreciate that for just a second. I can't even say it with a straight face. I'm sorry. I do love eye makeup. I love doing it.
Yeah, there I'm back.
Oh, there, I can hear a little background noise there. I love all sorts of fun, exciting colors in eye makeup. I'm very disappointed that the rest of the world does not appreciate my eye makeup the way I do. But that is neither here nor there. My eye makeup merely reflects how I feel inside. So there were some discussions going on in the chat, which I caught the last 2 minutes. I had finished my eye makeup, and I read. I didn't really get to comment on. I'm scrolling. All right. Alley Cat said, being with friends in bigger parties does make it better. Yeah. I mean, if you don't have positive experiences going to bigger parties, why go? Right? This is legitimate. And I mean, a lot of people are quite happy with just a small group of people that they have as friends. And if that is what floats your boat, I would definitely recommend sticking with it. The only issue I would say is, do think about keeping up on how to make new friends, because as we get older, for a variety of reasons, we lose our friends. Some of it are for, unfortunately, philosophical reasons. I live in the Deep South. I've lost a bunch of people, to be perfectly honest. But also, like with our mom, we saw that as she grew older, her friends were passing away, or dementia, Alzheimer's was taking them. And essentially her world just kept getting smaller and smaller. And when she had such little friendship support, she started withdrawing mentally, and she was starting to have a bit of a mental decline. And it has been scientifically proven that if we keep ourselves surrounded by friends who are meaningful for us, that it is very likely that helps stave off any possible mental decline for anybody, whether they're genetically prone to, say, Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia or not. That it's good for everybody mentally. So, while we might be, in middle, like in 20s, 30s, and 40s, have a fair number of friends. As we get older, we start losing them for a variety of reasons, unfortunately. And so keeping up that muscle on how to make new friends is important, because at a certain point, honestly, after I got so sick at the end of last year, it was like, I don't have any friends anymore, because, I had lost them due to the orange Cheeto. And I was like, wait, how do I make new friends? And then the pandemic hit, and it was like, okay, how do I make new friends when I can't go to coffee shops or go out? And so, although I love a good puzzle, so I actually kind of enjoyed it. What I did find,
it does turn out that coffee shop does exist.
I did not know there's an author shop in town where we live in Mississippi. Y'all, it's called the Author Shop. I thought it was a metaphor. Nope, it's real. It's like the mommy shop in that story. where you go, where the kid turns their mom in and gets another mom. I love that story so much. I had so many fantasies as a child of turning in my mom. She knew about it, and she thought it was funny. And yeah. So anyhow, that's all I have to say. I'm not trying to lecture anybody on their business. I think it's great. And by the way, please keep chatting on. I love it. Even when we're talking afterwards, I really enjoy okay, what are other people saying? Cute. I mean, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, I would just love to do a big old Zoom chat and everybody just come in and join in and actually talk. I think that would be freaking awesome. That's my fantasy. We'll figure it out one day.
Yeah.
So yes.
And also, I just like hearing. I like that Alley Cat is bringing a different perspective and view of we've gotten good at going to parties. A lot of people, not so much. So again, we're trying to show that diversity, and so that's also why we want as many people chatting and bringing more to the conversation as can be.
Yes, that's what makes it awesome. I love this. And yes, lurking is totally fine. Be as quiet as you like for whatever your reasons. I mean, if you're upset with me, though, I'm not going to pick up on it through psychic rays or thoughts. You're going to have to at least slide into my DMs and tell me and let me know what happened. Because autism becomes a disorder when it comes to communication. I am not necessarily a good communicator. I know I seem so amazing, but yeah, no, I'm not.
This is a lot of practice.
This is a lot of work. You have no idea how much my brain is going right now. Trying to keep that diesel engine fired up. This is really hard for us.
What you don't see is how much we relate to watching the first season of Westworld and how the hosts talk to each other to sort of work on their conversation skills.
Yes. I mean,
we practice that a lot with each other.
Yes. We tell each other, okay, I hear what you said. Now here's another way to say it. And we tell each other constantly critiquing how, I had a bit of a rant the other day. But first, debate, it's just my opinion, but Charlie, you do you. You want to rant and share it with the world? I want to watch it. You want to rant and not share it with the world? I respect that. You want to not rant and just deal with that, like writing or cooking or whatever? I also respect that. Although, I want to make sure you're okay. And if I can do anything to help, of course, let me know, because not psychic, not good at thought rays. And Eva writes us here. Hello, Eva. So nice of you to be lurking. Happy to have our lurkers. I used to be a webmaster, and I will soon have to be again, because we're going to resurrect a website so I can start posting up my writings. WordPress. Smell the tears. Okay. Yes. Make the video, leave it private. I'll agree. You do you. It's really important. Okay, just want to say I love Tom's rants. Y'all, I am so sorry you're missing out. I'm trying to convince Tom to record his rants. Oh, he is so adorable. He's so cute. I'm normally the one, let me tell you, when I rant, I could go on a solid hour, maybe 2 hours. Easy peasy. I have lots of thoughts and feels talk out and process. But when Tom goes, it's extra special treat of number one, not just me. And number two, of course, Tom's thoughts are so different from mine that they really keep me interested, because it's never what I would guess that he would be upset about, or his thoughts about it. So as somebody who enjoys watching watches a good rant, but not just somebody just yelling and spittling, I could do that in the mirror. I'm good. But, has something to say. I love when somebody has something to say. I really do, especially people that I care about, like the people here. I love our writing community, and that was where I was going with it. Was this writing community here on YouTube really helped kind of bring me out of my shell after essentially feeling rather having very few friends again for reasons. And I think it's wonderful, and I want to do everything I can to help nurture it, grow it, and at least make sure if there's any autism portrayals that it's more accurate, as accurate as it can be.
At least more diverse.
Hello, dawdling writer. Yes, more diverse. Representation matters. Representation matters. Representation matters. And while I'm here, Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, Black Trans Lives, everybody's lives, but like especially the people who are really getting messed. Okay, all right, and this is where the words break down. Hello, dawdling writer. I caught the tail end of your stream earlier today, but I was like running around. I was so behind that I had it on the TV and running. I didn't even get to say hi in your chat before it ended. I'm sorry. But I did get to listen to it. I'm so glad you came. Hope the parents are good. Hope you're good. Yes. It's about things. Yes. To all the lurkers, we are glad you're here. Some people just suck. Homophobes suck. That woman sucks.
Yes, a lot. I follow Diane Duane on Twitter just to remind me that they're not all that insane. It's just her. Diane Duane on Twitter actually does help me with my sanity.
We do have her book listed. So You Want to Be a Wizard? So You Want to Be a Wizard series, by the way. But yes, people suck.
Versus the book with Night with Moon of So You've Always Wanted to Understand Your Cat, Who's a Wizard.
Highly recommend. Story. Highly recommend. If you've never read it or listened to it, highly recommend. I'm not, necessarily as much into Diane Duane as Tom is, but he got me to read. Say the title again.
The Book of Night with Moon.
Okay. Yeah, my dyslexia, I'm going to flip all those words around.
Every time, no matter how many times you hear it.
So embarrassing. Because it looks like I'm insincere and I don't mean it to be. But anyhow, yes. The thing is, I would love to hear what your thoughts are, Charlie, if you feel comfortable sharing. Or even privately. Even if you want to workshop it. I do workshop my rants with Tom. Before they ever go public, I definitely workshop mine.
Yeah.
I find that helpful. Yes, we heart all our lurkers. Ooh, I did not know you were on Twitter. Or did I? You have to go check. So, Alley Cat got 76 words. Is it a tough scene? Or is it just maybe, the creativity well is getting a little dry? Got to refill it with, fun things.
Yeah.
Or things to rant about. I mean, like, seriously, I have written some freaking angry scenes before that was useful. But, let's see. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Yes. Okay. I actually had a similar rant to Tom the other day.
Yeah. Yeah. You know.
People just. When I was younger, a lot of people, there's more than a few people in this world who seem to be really good at making other people feel small or feel like other people are taking up too much space. And my mother told me, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but this is what she said. She said, Glory, the thing is that you bring a buffet when you bring the Glory buffet with you everywhere. And there's a lot of people in this world that were only prepared to have a sip of glory. And I said, I'm not trying to shove food down their face. But if the banquet is available, the smorgasbord is available if anybody should want to have more of the glory buffet. She said, people don't see it that way. All they see is like this obligation to consume all of the glory buffet. And I said, well, they're obviously not in their right minds. In fairness, I was a teenager and my mother was trying her best. It was the 90s.
It wasn't easy.
So, yeah, I get sick of this shit too. Of people telling us how we can and can't be, or how we should or shouldn't be. Blah, 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 blah. Screw all of them. They're haters anyway. Yeah, Tom got 2 hours of that, by the way. Oh, it went on. Oh, I had receipts. Oh, that's cool. I'm so glad she's awesome in real life too. That's awesome. That's so awesome. Y'all are just, y'all are lovely. I mean, seriously, every time we do this and people show up, I'm like, my heart is so full the whole rest of the week. I'm on cloud 9. I'm fired up and ready to go. If anybody would like someone to talk to on their live streams, I am absolutely available because I'm supercharged after these awkward sibling hours. So anyway, wow, time flies. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, Tom.
So let's see. Let's start with as like the worst segue. Speaking of She Who Must Not Be Named, and the difficulty, but I think we do as a community and society do need to work on figuring this stuff out, of separating the work from the person who produced it. In some ways,
so difficult.
There's, and speaking of that, feeling like an alien among people, there's Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game.
Yeah. I mean, I went through a long several years where I was heavy into Ender's Game, and then I found out what a dick he is.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, that just, totally put a bitter taste in my mouth for Ender's Game.
And then for one totally sort of in a same and yet different realm of one that, again, I actually enjoy, but ends up having to be a guilty pleasure because of everyone's views. The Host by Stephanie Meyer. As much as I don't care for, sparkly vampires, I do really enjoy this sci-fi story of literally an alien inside a human host trying to survive and not have the rest of the humans kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Of, how do you get by when you're so obviously different? And, in the end, like, I really enjoyed the book. I was surprised. I also enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie as well.
And then, let's see, there was something else.
Stackpole.
I, Jedi. Which, for people like Star Wars, is considered one of the best Star Wars books. Even though it has very little to do with the rest of Star Wars, but it's about, when you're different and everyone and almost no one likes you, and you still have this need and want to help and protect those around you.
Can relate. Yeah. And that does bring me to Christopher Stashis. Let's see, what is it? It's both The Wizard in Absentia and I think Wizard of Gamma series.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I am literally pulling up the hashtags from the Instagram one so I could see. I had looked it up then. Yeah, the Wizard in Rhyme, the Rogue Wizard, and the Warlock of Gamma. All of those really are in a similar vein. What I liked about them is it's sort of a stranger in a strange land, and so we follow along with them as they get to know what are the social conventions, what are the social rules. But like all science fiction, fantasy, most other writers, the only social rules they know are the ones they themselves live in. So that's what they reference, they talk about. So they are useful analogs, and I found them very helpful. Of particularly, I think it was Warlock of Gamma Rai, of how to pop in to a new place where you're brand new, and figure out the lay of the land and how to make new friends quickly, not necessarily close friends, but at least how to, get acclimated quickly in a socially acceptable way, which I did not know. I had no idea. I had no idea how to do it in a compassionate, gentle way. And Stashev really does go over that in several books. And that was very helpful for me, since that's what his main character is doing. It's sort of anthropological. It's very cool.
Let's see. What
Ellie says I, Jedi was such a good book. I agree. I did not actually read it. My partner at the time told me every chapter after they read it. So I felt like there was really no point in me reading it. So I still got it. I just got sort of a Reader's Digest version of every chapter. Tom?
I'm about to have to go back to the list of the ones we talked about before.
By the way, the anti-MAME one was mostly about parties. That was why we referenced that. We just forgot to mention it during the party section.
Truly, great movie and book.
All right, let's see. Last Dragon Slayer.
Oh yes,
I love YA. I'm a huge fan. I also love chapter books and middle grade books, obviously. But yeah, I know you want to talk about Murderbot Diaries because you've literally been talking about it for like 2 months. And if you're going to talk about Murderbot Diaries, I'm going to talk about what is it? Saturn's Children. Haha.
Oh. Ooh.
Oh, I've already talked about it before, and I don't care. I'm bringing it up again.
Yeah. Murderbot is definitely. You can't convince me that she doesn't have an autistic child, because this reminds me of a lot of lines that people more autistic. It does remind me. We were talking over the past week, and one of the things Gloria brought up was we probably should actually mention, like, as children, how we were diagnosed as autistic. Which, and to me, always feels a little ironic. My autism was mild.
Oh, you mean the levels thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And if anything, though, as the years have gone on, probably in part because of PTSD and not understanding the real reasons for people's behaviors, I've actually gotten more what people would consider more of the stereotype of autistic and introverted, and really having more difficulty communicating with people. And Gloria's sort of gone the other direction, because, we are those twins.
The worst twins.
Yes, we really reached the same conclusion, but from absolute opposite ends.
We're not actually twins, but people mistake us for twins all the time, so we make a joke about being the worst twins.
Yeah.
Also, it's a reference to Eurotrip, the movie. Anyway.
Only more people enjoyed that. I have stories, too, from Europe.
Especially Albania. Anyway. So when I was diagnosed at 6, I was diagnosed at the time. They did not have levels like we do in the latest DSM. But I was diagnosed at the time and told, and mom and dad were told, according to what mom told me later, with moderate to severe autism. They told mom and dad that I would likely never be able to live independently. I would never be able to hold down even a part-time job, or be able to communicate adequately, finish a high school degree, let alone a college degree. Just a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That I would need full-time care, or at least part-time care for the rest of my life, kind of thing. And that's why they, were the psychiatrist was recommending that I be institutionalized at that point. And my parents were like, "Oh, hell no." What they had been doing and what my parents continued doing for the next 15-ish years was coaching me and trying to socialize me and encourage me to be myself, but also how to figure out how to be myself in our current society. And versus with Tom, with his diagnosis, it was, it's very, he's very high functioning. He's so intelligent. He'll be fine. He'll be a genius. Just let him, enjoy reading all the books he wants to read, and he will become, somebody big. And I remember that shit. Just pissed me off.
Oh God, yeah. Like,
I hated the whole thing about like Tom's the genius and Glory's like a drooling idiot. And sexism in psychology is serious. But nowadays, the equivalent, because I looked it up, the equivalent of is, since autism is now like given levels, is Tom would have when he was a child, the equivalent he would have been diagnosed with from what he was level 1. So if you are a parent who's like happens to have come across this and it's like, how does this relate to my child? Tom was diagnosed with the equivalent of level 1 autism, which is the most mild. It is the most functional. They may have some minor communication issues, but otherwise they are fine and wonderful, and congratulations. And I was diagnosed with what would now be the equivalent of a level 2 to level 3. And here I am. I have a bachelor's of science from the College of Psychology and Education at the University of Southern Mississippi. I graduated with honors. I was let me see. What did it say on my license? My license said that I am a highly trained, highly qualified professional educator. I loved that. It did not say teacher license. It said highly qualified professional educator. And then I was a librarian for 6 years. I chose not to continue teaching because of No Child Left Behind required coaching children on, and that's the nicest way I could say, coaching children on the standardized testing. And we had to coach them from the very first day of class every year through the standardized testing. So 8 months of this, every single class, every single day. So that's, depending on your school schedule, that's 5 to 8 times a day that you are reminded that there is a big, important standardized test that means absolutely nothing to that child's academic future. It only means something to the teacher, the principal, and the administration's futures. It means absolutely nothing to that child's academic future. And yet I had, when I was teaching 3rd grade, I had children who literally were developing stress ulcers. They were so scared and worried about how they would do on their standardized testing, and it was meaningless for that child. And yet, because we're given a script that we have to read or else we get fired, so we're not even allowed to just kind of slip in the test questions and not tell them it's test questions. We have to, there's literally a 30-second spiel we have to go over every single class, every single day for months, for the entire academic year. And I was like, I am literally abusing children, and I cannot do this. I'm not trying to judge any other teacher. I know everybody has their reasons and everybody's trying to do their best. But for me, I literally was having nightmares from this realization that I was hurting the children that I love. So that's why I went into librarianship instead. And that's a whole another thing. So anyhow, but yes, I was able to hold down several full-time and a few corporate jobs over the years. I've also owned my own video store and managed my own video store. That's how I paid for college, in fact. And, I did all these things, and they said that I would never be able to live independently, let alone, I also, by the way, have a driver's license. Yes, it took 4.5 years and about a dozen people helping me to learn to drive and, several learner's permits because you have to keep retaking the test every 6 months. But yes, I did eventually get there. I just took longer. I took my own time. I got there in my time. And that's perfectly fine. Because putting this pressure, it's not useful. It's not useful for most human beings, in fact, I've learned.
Yeah. Hey, you still there, Gloria? Okay. She'll be back. Her computer just glitched too.
Hey.
Oh, Monday glitches.
Okay, let's see where we are. CB's joined us. Hey, all right. I didn't know that, Charlie, you have your own Discord. Are we invited? Just saying. Yes. Those scripts are just, they suck.
Yeah, I didn't even graduate the education degree because of that, in part.
All right, maybe Tom is smarter than me because he at least figured it out before I did.
I couldn't go along with that stuff.
Yeah, CB's had a similar experience with misdiagnosis. I mean, and that's not to say that I don't have autism. It is accurate. And yes, my diagnosis was accurate. I mean, like, I know what I was like as a kid. I was a handful and had serious communication problems. I mean, I mostly screamed a lot because I couldn't get the words and the feelings out. And it was so frustrating. I mean, like, all the things, I threw a lot of things. I mean, I'm not proud of it. It's just how it was.
Which also kind of brings up another thing we were talking about from last week. When we say fighting, we don't mean the way a lot of people talk about fighting.
It did not occur to us before, later.
Speaking of communication
experiences are different.
We fought, and our parents did this very consciously from a very young age. We fought more like that family that runs the MMA. Hey, Nikki. I can't remember their names offhand.
The Gracie Jiu-Jitsu stuff, yeah.
Of where we had rules about how we could fight, and we very much thought these were decent rules, which was no bruises where people can see them if you in your school clothes.
Right.
Nothing that would send any of us siblings to the hospital.
Correct.
Which meant absolutely nothing that required stitches. And, we could not in any way permanently maim or harm each other. And also, if the other one tapped out, we had to respect it. If they didn't want to keep fighting, we had to stop. And we did. Because, what's the fun of fighting with someone who doesn't want to fight?
Right. It was always with absolute consent. I mean, and you could tap out at any point. You could say, I don't want to do this anymore. And literally just walk away. And while the other one might go, ugh, that was like, you couldn't even yell. You had to just take it and deal with it or go outside and go kick some grass. I don't know. I mean, you just had to deal with it because these were the rules. If they don't want to fight, they don't want. So I had somebody who explained you're not really fighting. It's more like sparring. And that is totally accurate. It's just, we just keep forgetting to use that word. And we use the word that we used as kids, which was, fighting. But it's, it did not occur to us until this week that other people, when they had fights in their family, there were not agreed upon rules. Remember, there was also no breaking of furniture of any kind, even by accident. Anybody breaks a couch, anybody breaks a chair, immediately stop, and there will be no more fighting that day, maybe no more fighting all week, especially till that thing gets repaired. You remember that? Oh, we got
yeah.
good at like wood glue and a vise.
So, and what this all comes, so what this all comes down to is, yes, Glory did try to stab me several times. This only came about after she has seen me several times, cooking and making stuff on the counter, and like literally, I can't cut myself.
Like you mishandled the knife, and it flipped out, and it went by your arm. I'm gonna hold on. Let me remove Charlie. By the way, that's Charlie's Discord link. Charlie has a Discord. Let's all join. I mean, if you want. By the way, hi Nikki. Okay, so anyway, the knife. The knife went down on his arm, and I saw it because I think that was where you were being my sous chef. You were chopping vegetables for me because my hand-eye coordination has gotten me kicked out of several psychology studies because I throw the curve off. Anyway, that's for another time. But anyhow, I had seen it while I was cooking and Tom was chopping. And I was like, oh my God, let's get you under the sink, and start bandaging you. And it didn't even draw blood. And I was like, how is that possible? Did you feel, did the blade not actually touch your arm? And he said, no, it did touch it. Nothing happened. And that happened several times. And that's when I'm like, I think you are impervious to knives. And that's when I started trying to stab him, because at a certain point, he also has a mouth. He seems so sweet here, doesn't he? He's so kind and generous and compassionate. Let me tell you, when he was a teenager and in middle school, what a mouth. So sassy. Harry Potter ain't got nothing on Tom's sass in middle school. Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate his sass now. I feel like it makes my writing better since Tom is my critique partner. But anyhow, let's see. Charlie says, the more I hear you talk, the more I wonder about myself. I relate so strong with what you're saying. Well, maybe. I definitely relate to what you say on your live stream, so maybe.
Pretty much it's always either autism or ADD. One of those two, you should probably talk.
PTSD. Sometimes it's PTSD.
Yeah, that too.
Or the trauma that PTSD caused.
Yes, but it's also maybe talk with a medical professional. Just get evaluated.
Right. Finding a good one is a challenge. Hi, Kat. How's it going? I play how to get my hand in here. Okay. All right.
How the hell?
Ooh, dancing to do it. Well, so yes. Yeah, when is the Ehlers-Danlos episode? Is that the next one, Tom?
I have lost track.
Because, the dancing was a bit of a problem because of all the joint dislocations.
We still shimmy a lot, though.
Let's see. Oh, yes. Next week's episode will be about autism and Ehlers-Danlos. 2 diagnoses that have a lot of comorbidity. If I recall, about 40%.
At
least. So, yes, we, our father recommended that we wrestle, though, instead of other physical, like even dancing, because he had a theory that wrestling would help improve core stability muscles and make us less likely to keep dislocating our joints. Turned out, the man was right. Okay. But yes, dance is such a great way to feel. Oh, I love watching Billy Elliot. I feel that in my soul. And I did take dance, in fact. Yes. That's unfortunate. I love tap. Yes, Tom knows about dyspraxia.
For my, ADD, what is that again?
Isn't that with the hand? We have Google dyspraxia. I have obviously is a neurological disorder that impacts an individual's ability to plan and process motor tasks. Individuals with dyspraxia often have language problems and sometimes a degree of difficulty with thought and perception.
Oh, yeah. We don't talk much. Also, I had a severe stutter for many years.
And when I say severe, I was the only person apparently on the planet who understood what he was saying for what, 3.5 years?
At least 3 years, yeah.
Like I had to, like as a little kid, like let's see. So I think you started going to the speech therapist when you were like 3 or 4. And so I would have been 6 or 7. And so they'd have to schedule it for when I was after school for me, because I had to be present at his speech therapy appointments in order to translate for him. Because even speech therapists, even professional speech therapists could not understand what he was saying. To this day, I do not understand why they couldn't understand him. Because I'm like, anyway.
And actually, I didn't realize for years till I met someone who had it that, while at most I have a very mild form of dyslexia, I most definitely have auditory dyslexia, which is something totally different.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Again, so many arguments between us because we didn't know why we were different from each other in the world. And our parents are like, if we don't tell them, they can't tell anyone else, and they can stay in regular school.
Right. My stepmom told me she's pretty sure that I have ADHD. We also found out I have dyslexia after graduating high school. Yes. Yes. Preach it. Preach it. I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until I was 26, 27.
Yeah.
And it was a revelation that I wasn't lazy. It wasn't that I didn't want to do work. It was, it's ADHD. And this is after I had a degree in special education, curriculum, and pedagogy. Like, I essentially had a minor in this and was like, well, it seems really interesting. Yeah.
And it pretty much it was when your family, we all had to fill out the survey form.
It was like
and we're just like,
it was 40 pages.
And we're like, wait, this is ADD and ADHD? Yes. I
had no idea.
A lot. As much more than you give credit for. We're like, yeah, okay, based on this one of what is ADD and ADHD, yes, no question.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the questionnaire.
Yes, Charlie stuttered from 19 to 25 and still, stuttering never really leaves you.
No.
The brain is wired as the brain is wired. We get, as we age, at least to a certain point, we develop alternative neural connections. So it's like, in your town, wherever you live, you've got the main road, and then you've got side roads and back roads and dirt roads even. And it's like that. That's how neurological connections can essentially circumvent an area that essentially is slowed down for whatever the reason, or the wiring is different. So, another form of stuttering a lot of people are not familiar with, and I just want to mention it just because everybody knows about the stuttering, but they're not familiar with people who have unusually long pauses in what they're saying that seem like they're not for emphasis. That is also a form of stuttering. It's called silent stuttering. So if you know somebody who sometimes has incredibly long pauses, they may actually be suffering from silent stuttering. And in fact, Tom has experienced quite a bit of social prejudice from the silent stuttering, because that's how it mostly presents now in his 30s.
Oh, yeah.
All right. CB mentions that learning a woodwind or brass instrument can help with stuttering. Tom and I play trombone. Any boners around here? All right. And I do know a flute teacher, if anybody's interested. A good friend of mine, Anne. Let's see. Where is... Just because I want to give Anne some love. I adore her. And in fact, we're working on a collaboration. Let me put her... this laptop today. Is anybody else having technical stuff going on with them? Well, I say I want to, and then I can't find her. I don't know why the world is this way. Oh, there she is. I've clicked on it, and then nothing has happened. There we go. Okay, let me... If I just put it here, will it post? Did it show up in chat? Yes, it did. Trying new things, learning new things. Just saying. She's, check out, everybody check out Anne. Also, by the way, just a quick shout out in case Charlie's account, channel is in the description, as are several of the people who definitely make a point of making me feel included. And, honestly, it's so easy to unconsciously not welcome diversity. So the people who do with their channel live streams, to me, do stand out. So let's give love and their channels. Also, by the way, just for the record, our playlist for all of Awkward Sibling Hours, as it gets updated, is in the description below. Just saying. And if you like, please feel free to click like. And if you would like more of this, please feel free to subscribe. There, I actually finally remembered to say it. Okay. Playing clarinet. Excellent. Yes. Tromboning. Yes. So in the latest DSM, Asperger's has been combined into the autism spectrum disorder. And this is just rather recently. I think, 2016 maybe was the new DSM. Hence the need to put levels in. So, yes, if you've ever been diagnosed with Asperger's, or you know anybody who's ever been diagnosed with Asperger's, it's now called autism spectrum disorder. Usually Asperger's is then rated as a level 1. Usually, not always. Sometimes it is a level 2. Just depends. All right. Yes, singing lessons. So, and our father stuttered as well. And so he would often communicate through songs, through musicals and other songs. And I do the same. Sometimes it's quite easy, or it's easier with autism and also with stuttering, to communicate in song or to communicate with other people's words, like quotations, and then with our own, because then our brain's not having to come up with verbalizing thought on top of verbalizing.
So our family communicated with a lot of songs and a lot of movie reference lines.
Yes, that is the language of our family. It's true. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad. Another boner. All right. Yes. I'm a little slow here, I guess. Time and everything didn't talk as well. It's a mom. Is it terrible?
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, same.
All of our family, both sides, are called late developers.
Late bloomers. That's what our family uses. Oh, it's late bloomers, honey. Don't worry. The men are very late bloomers. Well, how late are they, Mama? 40s and 50s. I get, wait, what? Yeah. What are the women? 30s and 40s. I gotta wait how many decades to bloom, Mama? All right, let me tell you now. I'm 41. I don't feel like I've bloomed yet, so. All right, there's Anne's link. She is a talented flutist and composer of music. My laptop spit me out of the internet. Switched to, oh, wow, okay. Hey there, penumbra mine. Auditory dyslexia is wild, isn't it? Seriously, sometimes I think that what I miss here in music lyrics are better. Just saying it. All right. There you go. That's commitment, and we appreciate it. Excellent. Flute. Yes. By the way, Anne does compose music for flautists. I do not understand the difference.
discussions, we joke about how do you pronounce it as well.
Because it reminds me of a flauta, which, is food here in America. Okay. Anyway, enough of that. Yes. Good stuff. It's about the zeitgeist, the synchronicity. Yes, I'm not sure. Singing is just fun to do, period. And it doesn't matter if, dogs and cats howl with you. I've been there.
It's why the person who invented karaoke was given an award recently. Because it still helps and it still improves the world.
It brings so much joy to people's lives. Yes.
Who doesn't enjoy singing along to, the darkness and I believe in a thing called love?
Just to the rhythm of my heart. Yeah. It's yeah. And Tom's cat got named the darkness in part because of that.
Yeah.
Also, she was entirely black. Like, when she closed her eyes and just sat in the bathroom sink in the dark, you did not know there was a cat there till you turn on the light and suddenly she looks at you. It's just the startling thing. She punked me so many times. So, yes.
Yeah, actually, I sing in choirs. I used to sing in choirs a lot. And, Glory did sort of.
I've been kicked out of 6 children's choirs. Well,
probably because Glory actually has, correct pitch and almost no one else does. So she doesn't blend well.
Does not blend well with others. That might as well be the name of my memoir.
Yeah.
Oh, well, but I do love to sing. Mom thought it was hilarious to teach us to sing dirty songs when we were kids.
It was a thing from her age.
They all dirty folk songs, Here's to the girl who steals a kiss and stays to steal another. She's a boon to all mankind. She's a boon to all mankind. She's a boon to all mankind. For she'll soon be a mother. She thought it was hilarious to teach us to sing these songs.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes. All right. I do think singing is good for everybody.
Yeah.
Even the people the cats want to caterwaul with. I think and I like to sing with people like that because it's fun to try to blend.
What was it? The neighbor's cat had opinions about your singing?
Anytime I sang Bob Marley, that cat, the black hole kitty that had a crush on your cat, she would get up on the fence next to where I kept my laptop. And she would, anytime I sing, woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. Yeah, she would just start going anytime, any Bob Marley song. Tried not to take it personally. But obviously, I still have to get over it. I love group singing. What is that group on YouTube? What is it? Sing, 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 or choir?
Yeah, choir. Yeah, the Canadian.
I love it. Yes, I love the Canadians with that. Yes.
Yeah, they get everyone together, and in like a day or two, they get everyone to sing some pop song.
And did the spider tip the hat to you and say anything?
I was actually just listening to audio yesterday about what was it, a kata warrior, where she is talking with a spider, a little spider god in there.
Ooh, like a Nancy?
Yeah, except it's a different one. I want to say it's like Onedi or something. I mean, it is Nigerian, so, it may be similar, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got their own mythology and folklore, so, man, good times. Yes, it's flutist. Oh, they did make it official? Oh, thank goodness. So glad, because it's hard to say flautist with a straight face to people's faces, at least for me. It just sounds funny. Like, being a flutist is not cool enough. You need to make it flautist. I don't know. It's a very talented kitty that apparently had never heard Bob Marley before. When I finally met her owners, they were like, what? Because I was like, excuse me, we're going to miss your cat, you know, when they were moving out. And they're like, oh, does she visit you? It's like, well, every time I sing Bob Marley, she has to caterwaul a log. So, you know, I figured she learned it at your house. And they were like, who's Bob Marley?
Poor deprived kitty.
Who is Bob Marley? Oh, well, there's no helping people sometimes. Did you run or did the spider run?
Keep going.
Oh, there's more here. Yeah. Oh. Well, I'm going to have to go find the cough drops. Okay. Well, I'm glad the support worker took care of it. Yes, yeah. I think flutist sounds better. It's right there with pianist. It's always funny. Depending on somebody's accent. Anne, who has put a link up above to her YouTube channel, she is a flutist, and she's also a composer for flutes as well as others. And she was telling me about maybe a week or so ago about a child that she was giving lessons to over Zoom. And this poor child, his mother wants him to play the flute, but obviously he has like 0.00% interest in anything musical, any music instrument, not even percussion, because she also teaches percussion. And so I was like, you know, Anne is available if you would like to learn flute. She is available. And I have to say, she's a very talented composer. Mm-hmm. We're actually working on doing a collaboration together with a story that I'm writing about caterpillars, and that she's composed some music that would go along with it. So we're currently working on that. I hope to be able to share a video about that soon. So anyhow, it's been 2.5 hours. I think we're kind of getting toward the end here. Quick roundup. Does anybody have anything they would like to tell us about, like anything, you know, self-promotion or any live streams next for anybody, or this week, or anything, you know, while we're here? Let us share the wealth. Who's got what's going on? Anybody books? Abigail, I believe, who has a book coming out this week. Yeah, I think I want to say the 18th. I'm terrible with time and dates, just for the record. But sometime this week. And let's see. And of course, Charlie has live streams on Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Anybody else? I don't know who's got stuff coming up next. Let me see. Is anybody streaming? Oh, I don't see anybody streaming right now. What? It's Monday.
Looks like you're right. The 18th.
Wait, wrong one. StreamYard jump. Yes. Yay. All right. Aw, that's so sweet. Thank you, darling. We aim to please. Try to be entertaining while also like just trying to show how autistic people converse with each other and with other people, because we have not seen much accurate representation. And when I say much, I mean not much at all.
Well, none purposefully. As we said, like, we really relate to the host in Westworld.
Yeah, I mean, they're hosts. I don't think they're trying to imply that autistic people are automatons. And yet, we could really relate to when the hosts talk to each other. And they have these lines and they keep repeating them. Because, yes, we do talk in sometimes cliched phrases. Because the meaning of the cliche is well known. It's accepted. It's acknowledged. And so just being able to say that instead of having to, like, form a whole paragraph to explain your thought or your feeling. It's just more, it's easier.
Look, I have to be super careful, and I'm still bad at when I'm doing text, even on YouTube live streams, so that I don't end up sounding sarcastic or passive aggressive or something else. And at the same time, it's like, but I don't want to have to write out like a full paragraph to explain how I'm meaning this, simple sentiment to come across, including like, Alley Cat, yeah, keep talking.
Yeah, keep chatting away, girl.
Like, keep explaining how your views about parties are, because we want to have a diverse, sense of everyone's different experiences. But it takes a lot of text since I don't have auditory inflection to use.
Yeah, in
explain all this. So yeah, cliches. I love cliches.
Absolutely. Let's see. Nicole says, I have a Fallen Book Series themed live stream on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Come have some writing. That's fantastic. And Dawdling Writer says, Spook Sprints and the Supernatural, Jordan A. Fingenhen. And Kelly Wright at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Is that today? Oh, yeah, that's right. I can't believe I forgot about Austin K's Monday night, right, at 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, because I think we're Central, so I just think, it's about 7 p.m. when it starts. And she does those stretches that are so lovely. All sorts of great. She's so chill. I love her. I love her. Aw, thank you so much. Thank you for all the subs. We appreciate it. Oh, and Kat will have weekly live stream over on Twitch. Kat Leo Writing.
Awesome.
Let's see. Okay, Abigail told me that Okay, Kat, I made you a moderator if you want, if you have the moment to put in your Twitch link for anybody, so you could do that. Enjoy your wrench, darling. All right. Where am I?
Right below is Charlie. Yep.
Okay, going to hang out in the common room on Discord. Okay, cool. And, oh, yes, Samantha with Tamara and CB at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then Lauren, Divided by Sights channel at 10 p.m. live stream.
Awesome.
For a blind and visually impaired person. What is A&A? Like ask and answer? Is that ask and answer? I'm used to seeing like ask me anything. That's all. Thank you, sweetie. Appreciate it. I'm glad you had fun. I hope you'll come back.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed your contributions.
Yes, maybe someday I'll actually start streaming or at least record my little rants.
And there's Catsling. Thank you, sweetie. Appreciate it. So kind. Thank you all for coming. It's always made better when people are here. And even when you're just lurking, we appreciate it because we know somebody's at least listening instead of just screaming into the void, which, I mean, there is a certain romance to that too, to be perfectly honest.
It's why I'm getting glory into, what's it? Lovecraftian mythos.
Oh, yes. I'm studying because I'm trying to write Tom a Lovecraftian lore type story or two. And because I'm up for a challenge. I'm here, which means I'm having to do a lot of research. That's right. So Q&A. Awesome. Yes. So now we all know where to go next. I've got a new music meeting on Zoom in about 20 minutes. So I will see y'all later. I hope you all have a lovely time. And we hope that this was useful, interesting, at least entertaining, and that you felt welcome. And if for any reason we can ever improve anything, please let us know. Slide into those DMs, babies. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.